Today is Monday, July 25th. What to know about fast-spreading wildfires and heat waves across the U.S. We'll tell you where people are facing the most extreme summer weather. Also, it was the most high-profile trial so far to come out of the January 6th investigation, and it just ended with a guilty verdict. Plus, what's now considered the world's worst airport for delays, why millions of T-Mobile customers could have some money coming their way, and the new policy that has Ticketmaster defending itself. Those stories and more coming up. Welcome to The Newsworthy. All the day's news in around 10 minutes. Fast, fair, fun, and on the go. I'm Erica Mandy. Thanks so much for being here. You ready? Let's do this. Several wildfires have been raging across the U.S. the last few days. Thousands of people have had to evacuate, buildings have burned, and thousands more are threatened. One of them is the largest fire California has seen so far this season. It's called the Oak Fire, and it's burning near the town of Mid-Pines in Mariposa County, just southwest of Yosemite National Park. It started on Friday afternoon. Since then, it's burned through nearly 25 square miles of rural land, and more than 6,000 people have had to evacuate. As of this morning, it's not at all contained. Meanwhile, the so-called Moose Fire is burning out of control on the eastern side of Idaho. It scorched nearly 51 square miles. Sadly, 2 pilots who were contracted to help fight that fire died in a helicopter crash. Wildfires are also burning across Europe. Most recently, tens of thousands of people were evacuated in France as wildfires spread across more than 79 square miles in the wine region of Bordeaux. Just last week, wildfires ripped through dozens of other European countries, but most are now under control as the extreme heat wave has let up a bit. On the other side of the pond, the intense heat is still going strong here in the U.S. The federal agency NOAA says this heat wave has set or tied nearly 400 daily high-temperature records over the last week, and thousands of records have been broken over the last month. Today, the Great Lakes and Northeast are finally expected to cool down. But places in the south-central U.S., like Texas and Oklahoma, are still in for some dangerously high temperatures. And a new heat wave is just starting in the Pacific Northwest. It looks like another one of former President Trump's longtime aides is headed to prison. A federal jury found Steve Bannon guilty in his contempt of Congress trial because he refused to cooperate with the January 6th committee. Remember, lawmakers subpoenaed Bannon for both testimony and documents, but he did not testify and he did not hand anything over. His lawyers argued that the subpoena was politically motivated and not legitimate. They also said Bannon thought the deadlines were just placeholders for more negotiation. But the jury sided with the prosecution, who said Bannon needs to be held accountable. Bannon now faces a minimum of 60 days in prison, but it could be up to 2 years. And that could make him the first person in half a century to be jailed for contempt of Congress. But his lawyers have promised to appeal. By the way, another one of former President Trump's advisors, Peter Navarro, has also been charged with contempt, also for ignoring a subpoena from the January 6th committee. Navarro is scheduled to go on trial in November. Russia's invasion of Ukraine has now entered its 6th month. And so far, the United Nations says at least 12 million Ukrainians have fled their homes. Thousands of people have been killed, including civilians, Ukrainian forces, and members of Russia's military. Yet the fighting continues. Over the weekend, there were battles in the north, south, and east. Russian missile strikes also targeted Ukraine's southern city of Odessa. And one of the country's most important ports was hit. That came less than 24 hours after Russians and Ukrainians signed a deal to allow millions of tons of grain to go through the Black Sea by the way of ports like that. The deal was hailed as a diplomatic breakthrough, since restarting those exports could help with the global food supply and help prices go down. But now that deal could be in jeopardy. Ukraine says it's still trying to restart grain exports, but that deliveries could really suffer if that missile attack was a sign of more to come. Separately, Ukraine might be getting a lot more help from the United States. The U.S. Defense Department says it's thinking about giving Ukrainians fighter jets. That would be a pretty big turnaround, since in the past, American officials said offering up aircraft would risk angering Russia even more, which could lead to a more direct confrontation. Either way, the jets probably won't be sent anytime soon. Pentagon officials say there are still some logistics to work out, like training and maintenance. It's official now. The World Health Organization has declared monkeypox a global emergency. That's the WHO's highest level of alert and could stimulate more spending into monkeypox treatments and vaccines. Similar declarations were made for the Zika virus in 2016, the African Ebola outbreak in 2014, and of course, COVID-19 in 2020. The CDC says more than 16,000 cases of monkeypox have been reported in 74 countries, including the U.S., since May. For now, the CDC says the risk of getting monkeypox in the U.S. is still low. It's mostly been spreading among men who have sex with other men, although anyone who comes in close contact with someone with monkeypox can get it. In fact, a couple of young children were recently infected in the U.S. Early symptoms of monkeypox can include fever, muscle aches, chills, and fatigue. In more severe cases, people develop a distinct painful rash with bumps or blisters. To fight monkeypox, officials are looking to smallpox vaccines. Past data has found they could be 85% effective against monkeypox, too. The CDC says if you've been exposed to monkeypox and have not had a smallpox vaccine in the last 3 years, you should get one ASAP. It seems there's one airport that has been the worst when it comes to flight delays this summer: Toronto Pearson International Airport. More than half of the scheduled flights between May 26th and July 19th were delayed. That's according to the flight tracking site FlightAware and the data it put together for CNN Travel. Only one airport in the U.S. made the top 10 on the global delays list, and that was Orlando International Airport in Florida. Europe, on the other hand, had 7 airports make the list. Of course, many airports and airlines around the world have struggled this summer since the demand for travel is way up, but the staffing and resources they need to meet that demand have been slower to recover. More news is coming up, but first, a quick break for our sponsor, Indeed. No one knows what tomorrow's headlines will be, except for the people who will shape them. If your business wants to make a positive impact for tomorrow, you need to hire great people fast. You need Indeed. Indeed is the hiring platform where you can attract, interview, and hire all in one place. Instead of spending hours on multiple job sites searching for candidates with the right skills, Indeed's a powerful hiring partner that can help you do it all. Find great talent faster through time-saving tools like Indeed Instant Match, assessments, and virtual interviews. Indeed puts you in control of what you pay. You set your must-have job requirements and only pay for the applications that meet them. There's a transparent flat fee per application, and you can pause your job posting whenever you want. Again, Indeed's doing something no other job site has done. Now with Indeed, businesses only pay for quality applications matching the sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/newsworthy to start hiring now. Just go to Indeed.com/newsworthy. Indeed.com/newsworthy. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? You need Indeed. SpaceX just broke its own record for the number of rockets launched within one calendar year. Friday marked the 32nd launch of 2022 using its Falcon 9 rocket, topping last year's 31 missions. And it's only halfway through this year. In fact, there was another successful launch just yesterday. SpaceX does work with NASA and others, but the majority of the company's launches this year have been to send up its own Starlink satellites as part of a plan to build out satellite internet service. If you were a T-Mobile customer in August of last year, you might have a payment coming your way. T-Mobile has agreed to a $500 million settlement in a class action lawsuit over a huge data breach that happened last year. The agreement means $350 million will go to settle customers' claims, and another $150 million will go to upgrading the company's own data security and technologies over the next few years. The cyber attack last year impacted nearly 77 million Americans. T-Mobile customer data, like names, addresses, birthdays, drivers, license info, and social security numbers, were apparently put up for sale on various criminal forums. If you were impacted, you can expect a notification, likely a postcard. But it's not clear how much each person will get. It'll depend on how many people respond and how much the lawyers take. But reports say individual payments can't go over $2,500. Most people can expect much less. The king of U.S. wrestling is officially stepping down. Vince McMahon is retiring as World Wrestling Entertainment chairman and CEO. The 76-year-old led the WWE for decades, and he's been a fixture in professional wrestling since buying WWE from his father in the 80s. He helped build it into a billion-dollar brand with a global reach. But McMahon took a step back after recent reports of sexual misconduct and hush money payouts. The Wall Street Journal reported he's paid more than $12 million to 4 women over the past 16 years to cover up claims of sexual misconduct and infidelity. His daughter, Stephanie McMahon, and the company's current president, Nick Khan, will take over as co-CEOs. Stephanie McMahon will become chairwoman. Some of baseball's biggest trailblazers are now Hall of Famers. 7 legends were inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame last night. The most recognizable one on that list is David Ortiz, a.k.a. Big Papi. He's known as one of the greatest designated hitters to ever play the game. Ortiz played 20 seasons in the MLB, 14 with the Boston Red Sox, and the other 6 with the Minnesota Twins. Other baseball greats honored include 3 who have passed away: Bud Fowler, who was the first black professional player, Buck O'Neil, the face of Negro League Baseball, and Minnie Minoso, who was the first known black Latino player in the majors. That's it for the main news, so now it's time for Money Monday, when we talk about one interesting money-related news story. But first, a message from our sponsor. If you're like my family, you like to pore over lists of reviews before deciding on where to book a reservation for brunch or dinner. So why not do the same when you're booking a doctor's appointment? With ZocDoc, you can see real, verified patient reviews to help find the right doctor in your network and in your neighborhood. ZocDoc is a free app that shows you doctors who are patient-reviewed, take your insurance, and are available when you need them. Yep, that's the other key here. You filter your search to only show doctors that take your insurance, which is such a time saver. And on ZocDoc, you can find every specialist under the sun. Whether you're trying to straighten those teeth, fix an achy back, get a mole checked out, or anything else, ZocDoc has you covered. Plus, ZocDoc's mobile app is as easy as reserving that brunch spot online or getting delivery to your house. Search, find, and book doctors with a few taps. Go to ZocDoc.com/newsworthy and download the ZocDoc app for free. Then start your search for a top-rated doctor today. Many are available within 24 hours. That's ZocDoc.com/newsworthy, ZocDoc.com/newsworthy. Now back to Money Monday. Consider this the latest big face-off: Ticketmaster versus Bruce Springsteen fans who are dealing with some big sticker shock. Tickets for Springsteen's first handful of 2023 shows went on sale last week, and almost instantly, Ticketmaster was selling its best tickets for as much as $5,000. It's all because of Ticketmaster's new dynamic pricing system that adjusts the prices in real time based on demand. But it's not exactly going over well. Fans have been venting their anger on social media, like one man who tweeted that Springsteen should, quote, write a song about a working man refinancing his car and home to purchase Bruce Springsteen tickets. Ticketmaster explained it's just trying to prevent the best seats from being bought and resold by scalpers. So by hiking up the cost, it's keeping scalpers from making a profit, and the money goes to the artists instead. The company also clarified that most tickets don't cost more than $1,000, that for this tour, the average price is about $200 a ticket. Still, one congressman is asking Ticketmaster to adjust its policies. He's sponsoring the so-called BOSS Act. It would require the FTC to set rules for ticket sellers and create more transparency over prices. All right, thank you so much for tuning in today and every day. We will be back with more news to know tomorrow. For now, have a great day.